Customizing your results for your state's Structured Analytic Query, or SAQ. This is for the Week 5 module. This is module 5.2.2. Steve Parenti here from the University of Minnesota. So in our previous module, we customized our Proto program, and I'm actually left that session up, so we're just going to continue on for where we are. So let's get right back into it. So here's SAS Studio. We created, if you recall, our own little program called My Little Pony SAS. And we want to customize this to now generate our summary statistics. So note that what it did generate was a file saying my states. Now that actually is not your states. That's actually all the states. We want to, one thing we might want to do is to actually, well, we'll leave this the way it is, but we're going to basically copy this. And it's sort of weird to figure out how to copy. You got to go all the way over here to find this run. Here, let's move run down below. Let's see, and then we're going to take this piece here, this proc means, similar to what we did last week, to show you how to adapt it. This is going to be the same thing we're going to do for week 7 too. And we're going to just, for our own sake, say old or original. Let's do that. Original Proto 5 ends here. Customize for my states. And just remember PA, New York, Maryland. And I'm going to do Control V for paste. And we're going to adapt this. So what we're going to do is create, like we did before. And actually we can see some of it because I still have the session open. So let me just to refresh your memory a little bit. It's been a week. Best way to see these things is in the work file. So you'll see, oh, maybe they're not here. Oh, sorry, I take that back. No, let's keep going then. Okay, let's see what we do. So we're going to be creating our own table 5B for this. It's always good to have some sort of system. Like going by My Little Pony all the time is a problem. So when people see it in the future going, what were you thinking? So we're going to take 5B and basically make it the 3 states. Like again, it could be anything you want it to be. So we're going to do PA, New York, MD. And we're going to set the table 5. Oops, no, I don't want to do that. Undo. I did a proc. Tried to use a proc. A paste function, and I pasted everything. So okay, sorry about that. Table 5B by person. At this point, I imagine you folks are getting really comfortable with this, going, no, he's typing the wrong keys. Oh man, let me get it. Get away from the keyboard. All right, so this part I'm actually do a little cut and paste. I'm going to Control C, Control V. So now that's going to be running, and let's repeat the same thing here. That's going to be creating a table just with our population. But before we do that, we also have to put in, this one before here, if Benny state, that's the variable that we created in, this is that if then statement, PA, comma, New York, comma, MD. Oops. And see how it's sort of gray there? That's because I made a mistake. If I put that apostrophe there, then it works. Nice, it says color codes while you go. Okay, actually we're going to run that real quickly just to show you what it does. This is very similar to what we did before. It's going to create a summary file. You'll see it in log. We started with 274,000 observations, and now we're down to 33,000 and change. Go back to code. We're going to then use this new file that we created in our means procedure. We want to take this piece here. I'm doing Control C, I'm going to add it to my output table. Need to put it there. Need to put it into our proc transposes, both what's going in and what's going out. And then finally it has to also go into what goes out, obviously, for the Excel spreadsheet, and then we want to relabel. Now, in this case, we could probably leave it the way it is. Maybe instead of saying reals, mice, make it different from the original. We can call it, get over there. Does not like me. Yeah, so in my states, we can call it for real. Okay, and then we're going to paint all this and run it. And now we have a summary. ESI population is about 21 million, which is what we saw for week 3 and week 4 when we did this illustration. So we now have all our summary information here. We can then look to find the information down in our, let's see, where is it? Under Files. And we should see a week 5 piece here. Yep, there they are, for real. And then we're going to download that file, that Excel spreadsheet file. See the little X. And let's open it. And there it is. So again, just to give you some context as to what you're all seeing here, we have labels here, so that really spells out a lot of what's there. What again is usually missing for the context is what's there. So this is, column 1 is going to represent all states, excuse me, not all states, all insurers. Column 2 is going to represent ESI. Column 3 is going to represent Medicare fee-for-service. Column 4 is going to represent Medicaid. Column Medicare ADV Advantage. And then this is non-group. And I'm just doing this to show you the context of them as you're getting into them and referring back to these programs. As you'll see, the categories that are here in terms of filling out your spreadsheets, you're just, again, for let's say the ESI population is going to be taking this amount of information that's here, nicely summarized, copying it, going back to our piece here for this particular population. It should just paste the values in. And there you go. Make the percentages. And you're set. And then the last piece of this, you just cut and paste the whole piece in. If you find a more elegant way for those Excel master programmers, by all means. And then the last piece, of course, is in the course. 2 things you have left to do for this week once you get this far under assignments. Let's go to the bottom for the quizzes. So for the week 5 structured analytic quiz, go here. Same as before, what we did for week 3 and week 4. There's going to be a set of questions and basically saying what populations fall into different categories. They come directly from what is in the black boxes. And in case you erase a black box, have no fear, we actually call out exactly what cell it is. And then the last piece to do, obviously, is to hand in your spreadsheet customized for your 3 states. And that you would do right here in this structured analytic query submission component, due April 23rd at midnight. And that concludes this module. Thank you very much for paying attention. In the next module, you're going to be working on looking at how to do some regression analysis that will be helpful for your paper, just some basic stuff. It's mostly done in R, but you can do some of it in SAS too. This concludes this module.